Hey everyone, and before we get into the video, I wanted to say that this video is part of a new VOD review series that we're doing on the channel, and if you wanted to get your VOD reviewed by us, be sure to head down into the description below and join our Discord where you can submit your own games for us to look at. Raze is often considered in Valorant to be one of the easiest agents to play, but also one of the agents with the highest skill ceiling. If you're good with her, you can pull off a lot of really cool things, but what exactly does it look like to be good at Raze? Well, that's what we're going to show you today. We'll be starting out by looking at one of our viewers playing Raze, and then we'll be comparing it to a match where one of our Radiant level coaches plays Raze, and talk about the differences between their gameplay along the way. The goal obviously with this being to help you improve at the game, so let's first take a look at one of their average Raze rounds, and we'll talk a bit about what they did wrong, and then how you can play the agent just a little bit better. Our hero for comparison today is going to be 8-Bit Ducky. He's a player who's pushing gold and looking to improve at the game. During this replay, Ducky is going to be actually playing in a custom game with ranks spanning from Silver to Radiant, but that's actually not too big of a problem for us because we're going to be focusing specifically on how Ducky plays the situations that he's put into. The first round, we're going to notice how Ducky is retaking A site on Bind, and he's actually going to have full utility for this, which is really awesome because Raze's utility is incredibly impactful in close areas. And A site Bind has a ton of incredibly close areas. You have Pocket, U-Haul, Short. These are all great areas for him to use any of his utility. This is part of the reason why Raze is so incredibly strong on Bind. You'll notice, however, as Ducky enters A site, he immediately throws his grenade towards Pocket on site, and it's actually not going to get a ton of value because neither he nor his teammates are currently in position to capitalize on this. It's possible that he might find some chip damage from this grenade, but overall, if anybody is currently in this area, all that is going to happen is they're going to move, and at the end of the day, it might just be better to save this for something a little bit later in the retake and use it for a different purpose. But next, you're going to notice how Ducky enters into U-Haul. Immediately, you'll notice a couple of things worth commenting on. To put it in the nicest tones, Ducky's clear is a little bit sloppy. He pulls out his boombot before even checking any of the close angles, and then he uses his boombot to check an angle on his right, but when he peeks, he still takes the time to clear that angle himself. And what I would say here is, if you're not confident the boombot clears this deep corner, you need to full clear it yourself. And if you are confident that the boombot clears this corner, don't waste your time checking it because it's going to get you killed. Moving on though, as Ducky approaches the exit of U-Haul, notice how he peeks this angle. He's incredibly close to the corner of the wall, and as we've talked about in so many of our videos, this is a very real-world example of angle advantage. If Ducky peeks this close to the corner, he's going to see his target way later than they will see him, and it could easily result in him losing a gunfight. Rather than just wide swinging out from this close to the corner, it's better if he backs up and clears it like this instead. But immediately going back towards the clip from Ducky, let's talk about how he exits U-Haul now. Well, for starters, he's not even finished reloading when he exits U-Haul. And secondly, he currently has 2 satchels in his inventory that he still hasn't used yet. And if you're confused about how he could possibly have used these satchels here, that's okay. They can sort of be confusing at first, but it's important to realize Raze's satchels have a couple of purposes. Off the top of my head, I can think of using them for movement, using them to break utility, using them to throw off enemy players' aim, and lastly, this is the one that we're focusing on, using them to peek angles. What I'm getting at here is if he suspects that a player might be holding short, which is incredibly likely right now, it's not a very terrible idea to use the satchel to peek it. This will throw off the player's accuracy because they most likely will not be expecting you to swing out so quickly, and it will give you a massive upper hand in the gunfight, even if that player happens to be boosted up high, like this Sage was. Also, notice how he does in fact see the Sage wall before he peeks, meaning that he probably should assume it's possible that the Sage might be on top of her wall. It's not like this is a normal wall for a Sage to place on offense without boosting on top of it. There was a lot to go through here though, so let's recap. We need to remember going forward, it's important to use our utility in positions where we are able to capitalize on it. If our boombot clears angles for us, we don't need to also clear those angles ourselves. It's important to clear angles from further away from the wall if possible, and our satchels can be a great tool for peeking angles. Now let's go and compare these things to what a Radiant Raze player would look like, and by the way, the game we're going to be looking at is from one of our Radiant teachers over on the website, and if you want to catch the full game, you can do so at SkillCapped.com. This is just a taste of all the things that you'll learn from Jaden's gameplay on the website, so if you're really looking to improve, I definitely encourage you to check it out, link in the description below. Starting off this clip though, it's actually going to be a rather intense round from Jaden, and he's going to start out the round by throwing a pre-nade at the start of the round towards grass. You'll notice how he doesn't peek aggressively off of the grenade, however it is actually going to help his Reyna take pretty much all of mid control as she's focusing all of her attention on window now because of this. And if they do decide to swing the Reyna after the nade, Jaden is always in a position to help her from garage as well. So this works out really well with how his Reyna is playing. But you'll notice quickly the enemy team is going to start pushing A, and Jaden is going to double back to help his team. Notice how the Killjoy ultimate is going to come from short, so Jaden will direct his Roomba towards short as well, anticipating that the enemies might be close to this smoke. As his Roomba clears the smoke below him, Jaden satchels up on top of the boxes, and then Jaden is going to time his satchel forward for the same time that his Roomba clears the cubby in short. Because of this timing, he catches the Phoenix as he's trying to spray transfer from the Roomba, and he's actually able to pick up a pretty nasty double kill on both the Phoenix and the Killjoy, as well as take out the Killjoy ultimate. Then with a quick gun swap, Jaden is able to swing the enemy Sage that had just killed his teammate in a lobby and pick up a really awesome triple kill in an intense round. Keep in mind, Jaden doesn't even come close to picking up these kills if it weren't for him using his Boombot and Satchel effectively in the round. Peeking the enemy when the Boombot targets them, as well as satcheling into them to catch them off guard, this was a really clean play from Jaden, and it does a good job of showcasing how to effectively use your utility on Raze. Let's take a look at an offensive round from Ducky though. Notice how he starts out the round by using the classic Raze Roomba into Hookah. If you guys don't know this lineup already, it's super simple. Basically, you use this at the top of the little picture on the wall, and it will not only make it difficult for anyone to peek out of Hookah aggressively, but it will also help you clear the left side to reduce this 50-50 angle. You'll notice Ducky thinks about comboing this Roomba with a grenade to help him clear Hookah, but actually decides against it, and this is actually a round where I would suggest using this grenade. It's currently 9-4, and when teams are down by this much after losing pistol round, oftentimes they do like to force up, and it's incredibly likely that somebody's sitting in Hookah with a judge right now. Another plus of using this grenade too is that it makes it a lot easier for him to clear these areas without risking getting peeked from sight as much. Because as you'll see when he enters Hookah, there are a ton of angles on sight that he is exposed to. Luckily, nobody ends up being in Hookah or peeking him from sight, but this is still incredibly risky, and it stressed me out quite a bit to watch this. But even beyond this, you'll notice once again, Ducky doesn't even end up using either of his satchels to help him entry onto sight. That's one of the great things about Raze Unbind, is that you can satchel out of Hookah and immediately create the pressure for your team. It also helps you to evade players who are maybe playing underneath Hookah, and oh hey, look who's playing underneath Hookah with a judge. Plus, with all of this mentioned, he doesn't even end up using his grenade to help him clear back sight either, which really poses the question of why didn't he use it in Hookah in the first place? If you're just going to decide to not use it at all, you might as well just use it in the first area so at least you can get to the next area more safely. Luckily, he ends up not getting punished for any of this, and he's actually able to find a good use for his satchels to help him get the spike down later in the round. But nevertheless, this round was still incredibly stressful to watch, and in another world, he easily gets punished for these plays. Now let's take a look at a round from our Radiant Raze on offense. And I'm actually just going to let this round play out, and I want you to keep an eye out for his utility throughout the round.
I missed my nade again.
Satchel out. Nailed it.
I'm 1 HP. So I used my satchels. I missed my nade again, which is actually unfortunate.
Notice how in this round, Jaden uses basically all of his utility to help his team entry onto site, only really saving the Roomba because there aren't really a lot of great ways to use the Roomba to entry onto C site. However, immediately after he gets onto site, he uses it to help clear the smoke in garage and gives his team time to get onto site. And although Jaden only picks up 1 kill on this entry, he effectively gets his team 2 kills because he causes the Sage to panic and blow her cover on site, allowing his team to pick up the kill as he turns around to help them out. And this is just a really great showcase of how a player can use their satchels to entry. And a big thing I want to comment on about his satchel use is that he used them to help chase down the Phoenix as he was running away. Jaden actually comments about how he messed up his grenade during this clip, but the play that he's shooting for here is that the grenade lands back sight and it causes the Phoenix to run away, and then as the Phoenix is running away, he chases him down quickly with his satchels. And even though he ended up messing up his grenade, he still caught the Phoenix running away, and that's really what movement agents like Raze and Jet are good at. Players oftentimes overestimate the amount of time that they have to get away from agents like these, and it can really result in you catching them off guard. Take a look at just one more round where it showcases a similar situation. As Jaden and Jet get into a gunfight in this round, you'll notice how Jet is going to fire off a spam of bullets and then back up to reload. And against any other agent, this is probably something that she could get away with. This is because other agents have a set amount of time that it takes them to cover certain distances. However, against a Raze, this is something that players oftentimes don't calculate for. And because she put herself in a position where she ran out of ammo, Jaden is able to take advantage of this and quickly close the gap and kill her. This is a prime example of how players will overestimate the amount of time that they have against agents like Raze and Jet. But this is all just a glimpse of the full game that Jaden played, and if you guys wanted to catch the full game with all of the commentary from Jaden, you can find that all available on the website, where we have many other games from Jaden as well. Let's take a quick listen to some of the commentary from one of the rounds.
I'm actually gonna go mid. Maybe try to get a fight here going on. There's like a lot of C, so since there's a lot of C, I'm gonna try to help them out. I'm gonna ping out this. I want you to throw nades here. I'm gonna try to help out my... I'm coming Sky.
Spike down, attacker spawn. One enemy remaining.
I'm gonna use my Satchel to get there quicker. Throw this nade, because she might be in the... There we go. That's really good. So, I was able to use my utility. You see, I've noticed as soon as I heard that dash, whenever you hear action, I like to personally look at like the mini-map and figure out what's happening, right? So I heard a dash, so when I hear that dash, pretend I'm looking at my mini-map. I'm looking at my top left and seeing, okay, where did she dash to? And then by that, you can see how I readjusted my nade for that dash. And you can see she was actually... I didn't hit her with it, but she was forced to either jump into my nade or just fall back, right?
Alright guys, remember if you wanted to see the full VOD, it's available on the website. But that's going to do it for us today. My name's King, and we here at SkillCapped want to thank you all for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.